Each morning, real setups are broken down with entry strategies and technical reasoning behind every trade. This is today's best trade setups with Verified Investing.
Welcome to today's best trade setups. My name is Benjamin Poole, head trader here at Verified Investing. LITE is up 4% this morning. I'm going to go over that chart, show you what the relative strength index is showing me. There is some negative RSI divergence happening. I'm also going to go over Tesla, the midline of the parallel channel that we've been monitoring. I'm going to go over Apple and a few other charts for you guys. The first one I'm going to go over actually is APP. It is moving a little bit today. I did mention that you had this wide range red bar candle happening on Friday. This could be resistance. If price action can stay above this level and continue stay above this level, then the potential to go higher is likely. Now what happened is it did look like it was going to close below, and then towards the end of the day, it did have this nice float up. It's trading at $700 even number in the pre-market. For me, my first shortable level is double top at $745.61, knowing that it could go up to $750 or as high as $761 on the chart of APP. This is a volatile stock. This is one that you got to be careful with, because even though it's up 10%, it can still, with the momentum driven behind it, APP can surge another 10% on top of that, going up as much as 20% in one day. What's likely to happen is once you get this huge surge in buying pressure, those buyers can step out of the way and drive this down. Again, 745.61, knowing it could still go a little bit higher. So I'm going to be a little bit more cautious with this trade setup. The SMH is another one that we've been monitoring as well. Here's his long-term parallel channel. Price action did get below the SMH, this parallel channel. It did confirm, but now it's started to slowly float higher. I was mentioning that you had this gap fill on Friday. It did get rejected from this gap fill. Now my next shortable level, let me go ahead and zoom into the charts for you guys. $372.78 is where I could potentially see price action going up to. And then you've got $380.42. That's right about where the midline of this parallel channel is. So I'm looking at those two for a particular, or for a potential short as well. Tesla, similar price action as far as the SMH, as far as parallel channels go. Right now, I'd mentioned that you've got this rejection or this midline resistance level of this parallel channel. Right now, we're getting a little bit of a rejection off of the midline. If price starts to consolidate sideways inside of this red bar candle, it's telling me a couple different things. Either price action is likely to roll over to this upsloping, to the lower end of this parallel channel, or it wants to surge up a little bit and tag this downsloping trend line. So what I've done is connected the all-time high at $488.33 to the secondary pivot on the 3rd of November, 2025. This is creating this nice, beautiful downsloping trend line for additional resistance. Right about $475.38 is where price action again would likely to be rejected. So this would be, for me, today's shortable level, $475.38, knowing that on a swing trade basis, $520 for me would be the max upside in Tesla. Tesla is getting overly extended on the daily time frame, so we could have one more little surge to the upside and then eventually a rollover at least to this lower end of the parallel channel. If this parallel channel starts to break, Tesla is coming back down to around $340, which would be a pretty substantial move. Serve Robotics, I'd mentioned $13.85 on Friday was my shortable level. It got really close to that level and then got a pullback. It is now currently trading in the pre-market at $13.44. So now for me, $13.85 is off the table. After price action gets really close to a specific level, specifically a gap fill in this case, what I'm going to do is I'm going to raise that entry price for a day trade and look for another resistance level. So the next resistance level I have on Serve Robotics, SERV, is I don't know why I have 17. This is $14.72. $14.72 is this pivot top right here, which should have a lot of selling pressure in this thing. So for me today, 14.72 is my first shortable level. All right, now let's go into LITE. LITE can be a really wild mover. As much as a 20% pullback can be in the cards for this. It is still currently in an uptrend. So I'm going to show you what I'm looking for as far as the uptrend is going on LITE. So I've got this low pivot here and then this high pivot point. And now I've got a higher low and then a higher high, higher low, higher high, higher low. And look at this. It's continuing to push up. For me, my first shortable level on LITE today is $350.27. That is really close to the current price action at $346.01 is where it's currently sitting. If price closes above $350.27 on a 15-minute closing basis, I would likely step away from this based on this current uptrend. You've got a lot of work to do for us for this uptrend to reverse, but look at also what's going on. As the price action is continuing higher, look at the relative strength index. It is continuing slightly lower. This is creating some a bearish pattern on the relative strength index, negative RSI divergence. So when I'm looking at negative RSI divergence, I want price action to continue a little bit. The price action to continue a little bit higher while the relative strength index is continuing lower. And the other thing I look for when I'm looking at negative RSI divergence is volatility. As long as there's 10 to 15% or more of volatility, that means that there are buyers and sellers who are in this stock who are willing to take profits and drive the price down if price action continues lower. So that's what I'm seeing here. You had this big move from this red bar candle. Oh, let me go ahead and get rid of that trend line. All right, look at this. You can get as much as a 20% drop in one session. So that could be what's going to happen at $350.27. Again, price action closes above this on a 15-minute closing basis. I would likely stop out, knowing that the next whole round number that I would be looking for is 375. And from the closing price yesterday, 375 on a stock like this is only about 13% away, and price can actually make that kind of a move. AVGO is another stock that we've been looking at as well. It's coming up to the all-time high or the double top. It could continue to push through that level if momentum in this price or in this stock continues. $403 is really where the double top is. It's actually currently sitting there at $402.72. This would have been my shortable level on Friday. However, now my first shortable level is $415. Price action just got a little bit too close to that. Now it's not as much of an extended move. It's only about a 2.5% move. So now I'm looking for $415 on AVGO for my shortable level today. This was on Friday, so that's off the table. 415 is my shortable level. On a 15-minute closing basis, I would likely stop out of this trade and look for a potential reversal signal or price to go up to $425. AAPL is another stock we've been monitoring. You've got this beautiful long-term trend line that connects the highs from December 2021, highs of 2021, secondary pivot top from the highs of 2024. Now look at where price got rejected. It got above this, but got rejected at this level. So what we're monitoring on a swing trade basis is this upsloping trend line. See how price action on when you're in an uptrend, creating these lows, these highs, higher lows, higher highs, higher lows, higher highs, how price can just continue to creep higher. If price action closes below this upsloping trend line on a daily closing basis, the uptrend has reversed and the potential downside is $252.22. Another stock that I'm monitoring is the Trade Desk, TTD. Now that we've got more of a line in the sand, this is looking more like a buying opportunity. Even though a couple days ago, I was saying this is a stock to kind of stay away from. The Trade Desk is starting to put in more bullish consolidation, indicating that price action is likely to head higher. Not only do we have this downsloping trend line, but look at what I've noticed. You've got this price consolidation inside of this red bar candle. After about 7 days, all of these buyers who were stuck in this red bar candle had the opportunity to step out of the way. So once price action gets above this high pivot at $41.16, this is the line in the sand, closes above that. Price action is going to recapture this $42.96 level, and then off to the races you go, probably looking at a $49.14 level, unless we start to close below this low pivot right here at $38.28. So really, that's my line in the sand. If price action closes below this level on a daily closing basis, this would negate the potential upside and then could drive price all the way down to $32.38. But right now, the trade desk is looking like a great opportunity to at least enter for a potential swing trade, knowing that we have a very clear stop out level with the potential upside to go to around $50 on a daily closing basis, or for potential upside. The next one is MRVL. It is trading lower today, down over 6%. It's already recaptured this gap fill to the downside. So for me, the really aggressive level would be $91.10, but I'm not interested in trading that. It's not an extended move to the downside enough. So for me, my first long level on MRVL is $83.43. The last stock I'm going to go over is CVNA. So Carvana got added to the S&P 500, and post-market, yes, on Friday, price action ended up going all the way as high as almost $450. So if price action gets up into that level again and pierces that previous pivot top in the post-market, $450.65 would be my shortable level today, knowing that it could go as high as $491.32, pretty close to the $500 whole round number. I don't anticipate it getting up there. Beautiful upsloping trend line that connects a couple pivot tops. So that's why $491.32 would be my max upside. Once you get some selling pressure in Carvana, it can really crash. This could be the top in Carvana with more potential downside. So that's what I have for you guys. Thank you so much for joining me. 8:45 this morning. If you guys are getting something out of this, please make sure you're sharing with your friends, you're liking, you're following, and subscribing, ringing that bell so you can get notified when I go live or any of us other verified pros go live with you guys. Please stay tuned. Gareth Soloway is going to be going live. That's a lot of lives at in less than 3 minutes. You guys don't want to miss that. He's got some key information that you guys don't want to miss. We'll see you guys next time, and have a great rest of your day. Take care.